to say goodbye to Sandy and Dave Gowan. Dave recently retired from the building department, and Sandy retired as director of the Older Adult Center. Claire Russell, director of Parks and Rec, tried to keep her emotions in check.
Sandy has worked for me for 10 years, longer. See, it seems like forever. I should know that, but she has been such an integral part of our department, but most importantly, she's been such a great role model to me and to all our staff.
And to my friends, I thank you for all that you've done for me. You've encouraged me, you've laughed with me, and we have cried together, too. I will never forget my privileged time with you. And Dave and I can hardly wait to be part of you without the stresses of the job.
The Romeo Historical Society will soon offer walking tours of the village on 4 consecutive evenings in September, the first being Thursday, September 3rd. Each tour is different and has a unique theme. Tickets are $5 per person with discounts for seniors and students. For more information, call 586-752-4111 or visit www.romeohistoricalsociety.org. The summer crop of vegetables is coming to full harvest right about now, so we decided to pay a visit to some of our local farmers. We stopped out at the Vanhoutte farms to talk with Terry and George Vanhoutte and learn some surprising facts about corn, along with some of the preventative measures and improvements that are also being made.
And we're talking today about our test trials of corn here. What we basically do here is we have 26 varieties that are planted and tested out for sugar content, ear length, and husk coverage so that we can produce and manufacture sweet corn. But they go around, the seed is actually made in Idaho, and what they do is they bring it out to about 5 different states and do 2 test trials in each state so that they can test for the variations in weather and bugs and vermin control and things of that nature. It's pretty simple what they do. They come out and they take the corn off the stalk. They measure it. They open it up. They check for the coverage of the kernels just to make sure it's filled all the way to the top, and then they take a bite out of it right out in the field to test for the sugar content, and that's how they test for better sweet corn.
Now this next one.
What's that called?
That's a cracker shell, and the next one is called a screamer, and we'll use a combination of both to keep birds out of our sweet corn. And this one is a screamer. He'll make a screaming noise. And so that's our way to keep the blackbirds out. The blackbirds could do 10 times as much damage as coons.
How often do you do that?
Once we get them out of the area with these shells, that we can, we can kind of like stay clear from the field for a couple, 3 days, but we always have to be on guard because new flocks will come on in and they'll start landing in your corn and they'll destroy half the field. And what they do is that they pick just the top of the corn a little bit, and then no one wants to buy a kernel that's been picked over, a piece of corn that's picked over, and so it's very important to keep birds out of our corn, and but coons too. We must have trapped about 70 coons this year in our various fields, because the coons there that they could probably destroy 25% of your corn. This is the kind of damage with the birds and the coons there that they can end up doing to your crop if you don't try to keep them out. So we kind of like call all this preventive maintenance when we get out and trap the coons early, and when we try to keep the flocks of birds away. But and that's another added expense to our operation. Hiring someone to come on out and check these fields. So you can see that the coons will go, and the coons are pretty smart there, that they will actually go into the corn about 100 feet, and then they'll start ripping it up, so that the farmer comes out and checks his corn and figures that he'll have, you know, there's nothing in his corn until you go into it 100 feet, and your corn is all coon ridden like this.
We then headed on over to Miller's Big Red for the Heirloom Tomato Festival. Hannah Stevens of the MSU Extension Service had this to say about the program.
Okay, well, what we have here is some research through Michigan State University Extension. This is a research plot that we're actually doing with several universities, several land-grant colleges throughout the Great Lakes states. We chose 10 of probably the best heirloom varieties that are out there now, are the ones that some of our experts think are the best, and we're gathering data on yield and gathering data on quality, disease susceptibility, and those kind of factors. We're going to combine that data with those of the other cooperators, and we'll have some good idea for growers and gardeners about which of these really flavorful heirloom types, which are not the standard tomato. These are what we sometimes call ugly tomatoes, how well they do in Michigan, particularly in Macomb County. And we got a terrific cooperator to help us with this.
Owner Ray Miller gave us a look at his tomato harvest.
This is some of the type of the tomatoes I have. This particular variety is Amish paste, like that, and it'll probably be superb in spaghetti sauces, like that. We've probably grown over 60 varieties here in total, like that, and we're here to determine which one is the best one. This is just one. This particular variety is Mariner's Peace, like that. It takes a lot of warm weather and sunlight and good soil conditions to grow tomatoes like that. They're a tropical fruit. They like warm, and we haven't had a lot of warm, but these are some green ones like that, and this one is one of your top ones that rivals brandy wine. The weather this season's been cool and rainy, and like I said before, we need tropical conditions like that. We're lucky up here. This property is up on a hill, and we're high and dry, and we're looking pretty good here like that, but it's been a tough year, and the season's running a couple of weeks behind. That's why these beautiful tomatoes here are so green.
We've heard of hybrid cars, but did you know tomatoes can also be a hybrid? Ray Jr. tells us how he grafts tomatoes.
I want to talk for a minute about grafting. Now, a lot of people know heirlooms are better than regular tomatoes, but there's a few problems with them. It is a good for the top side, but the roots not so good. They're very disease prone, and they don't really produce that much. So, how do you remedy that problem? You change the roots. You put a rootstock on it. You get about twice as much vigor, and there's better disease resistance. And the last thing I want to say is you can plant the same tomato in the same spot, because tomato's a dirty plant. The roots it leaves behind likes to collect a lot of diseases or whatever. But when you have a disease-resistant rootstock, you don't have to do that. You can plant it the same spot every year, year after year.
With Peach Festival right around the corner, we caught up with some folks at Frontier Town. Here's Chris with more about the activities going on at Frontier Town.
I'm here with two of the store owners within Frontier Town. Lynn, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I'm Lynn Michaeli, and I'm the owner of Castaways Consignments, which is a resale consignment store, and we carry furniture and home decor items, and we're known for our gem sandals.
Now, will there be anything, at Frontier Town during the Peach Fest?
Yeah, actually there will be quite a few vendors. From what I understand, we are full, and there is a waiting list.
Oh, wow. All right. Let's jump over to Ellen.
Hi, I'm Ellen from the Country Store, and during Peach Festival we're going to be promoting a lot of our old-fashioned candies, which we've had for 100 years, And we're going to do our peach cobbler and a lot of different other foods that we carry.